Welcome to Orientation 1. My name is Queen Brown the Chum. I will be your facilitator today, okay, for WQEB 97.3. You guys are about to learn everything you need to know to make money with us. Now, this first thing I want you to pull up is the Fall Fest spreadsheet, or it may say Fall Fest manual, okay? If you notice, the beginning of the manual says current pay 50/50 because that's the level where you guys are at right now. So for the next 30 days, you will get half of the profit that you bring in. Projected earnings should be a minimum of $100 per week. Dress code is all black or black top / denim bottom, preferably business casual. Okay, so the first assignment that you're going to do is I want you to pick a camo outfit out. I want you to pick out a black top and denim bottom, but I want you to find something that is business casual so we know that you understand what that means or what that looks like. Okay, and then maybe something that's all black but business casual. We need to understand, you know what camouflage is, you know what black and denim business casual is, and you actually know what all black business is, okay? So that's your first assignment. You're going to do a fashion assignment. It should be a PowerPoint or what we call a design sheet showing that you understand the dress code, okay? Now, basic media training is going from the radio show to the festival to the app. Right now, we're on our Camel Brunch festival, even though this manual was done for the music rodeo. Y'all know we on the Camel Brunch right now. Now, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, one Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday out of the week, we actually do what is called Radio Cafe Live. We have very specific dates that we do the Radio Cafe Live. These are the interviews that you guys do as PAs, okay? And that's normally between 12 and 4. Those interviews are supposed to be every 6 minutes. And the reason we do that is to get you ready and train you to go out into the field, because when you do an interview on the scene, it has to be at least 5 to 6 minutes, if not less, okay? But it can't be more than that when it's on the scene. Now, normally, Monday through Friday, we're supposed to have This is QEB, which is from 6 to 8 o'clock. So as you can see, this front page here shows you what the program is supposed to look like and how the show is developed. Okay, so we do general segments between 12 and 4, which the PAs usually do. Okay, and then from 6 to 8 is my show that I'm actually hosting, and that's about a full 2 hours, okay, of a program. So segments and programs are two different things. Programs consist of several different segments. A segment is very specific as far as what the content is. Now, go on to page 2. On page 2 here, we have our customer profile. We consider ourselves to be social journalists, okay? That means journalism via social media for the purpose of social justice plus social good, okay? That's our whole idea, to lead to social good. Our ideal customer, we call her Eve. Eve is 23 to 33. Ideally, she's 28. She's Black femme, okay? Who we like to call a sexy nerd. So think Clark Peoples to Meg Thee Stallion. Consumer profile, she's a college graduate, a working girl, fashionista, music lover, film buff, legal beagle, a bookworm, and a traveler. Okay, she doesn't go anywhere if there's no purpose. All right, so that's one thing we love about this girl. She goes places with a purpose. She walks around with intention. Okay, so that's who we're trying to attract. She's a social climber. This is the sexy nerd, the Black nerd girl that gets ignored. Okay, but that doesn't mean she's necessarily wearing glasses or this and that. It's just that she has a certain level of intellect about her versus being ratchet. But she does have her moments when she is ratchet, okay? She do like a little ratchet stuff, a little drama, but that's not her 100% who she is, if that makes sense. This is the young lady that is in between. She's not totally bougie and she's not totally ratchet. She's right there in the middle, and our platform is dedicated to that girl. That is the girl that we are trying to appeal to. That is also the girl that a lot of Black women fall into, but never gets exposed. It never gets celebrated. It never gets talked about. We're always forced to be, our image is always forced to be one way or another. So our job is to change the narrative, okay? We're here to change the narrative so we can change the reality. So know who our consumer is. When you are submitting news, when you are submitting artists, submitting businesses, submitting events, submitting vendors, you need to keep our consumer in profile. Okay. And not in profile. You need to keep our consumer in mind. Okay. She is the priority. Okay. Everybody else that ends up listening to our station, that's great. They end up following us, that's great. But who we are trying to target dictates the type of content that we put out. Okay. I want to be very clear on that. Now, the next page gives you some examples of promos that we've done in the past, just to make you aware. Okay. Just to make you aware. So what we're going to go over before we get to the lecture, we're going to go over hospitality. Okay. Hospitality, things you need to know. Normally we would do this as a scavenger hunt, but what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to give you the answer and you tell me where you can find it. Instead of me telling you to go find it and you finding it, I'm going to tell you what it is. And then you are going to tell me where you can find this at. Where you can find it. So we're going to do an inverse scavenger hunt because these are things you need to know. Legal name of the charity, QEB Foundation. Legal name of the radio station, WQEB, really the radio station app, WQEB 973 LLC. Address 3060 Farcourt North, Northwest, Suite C5, Atlanta, Georgia 30305. Phone number 470-399-7973. General email, foundation.qeb@gmail.com. Charity email, it was info@qebfoundation.org, but I have to get that one back. The press email, press.qeb@gmail.com. Did you notice a pattern? Foundation.qeb@gmail.com, press.qeb@gmail.com. Now, we also have queen@wqeb973.com. Okay, so that's also another press email, which I don't really check, but we have it if need be. Whenever we need like a corporate email. Music email, mp3.qeb@gmail.com. Website, wqeb973.app. That is the main website, but right now we're using .tv. So there's wqeb973.tv as our website, okay? Our social pages, Instagram and TikTok, wqeb973.app. So notice it was done on purpose. So the app website and the socials all have the same name for a reason, so that it's one thing that people have to remember when they're looking for us, okay? Now, first radio tag was from ATL to the world, was popping. Second radio tag, for the culture. Third radio tag, your Winnebens station. And the fourth radio tag is tune into flavor. One radio cafe tag is hot dogs that do good. So when people actually come to the cafe, we're supposed to say, welcome to WQEB 97.3 or welcome to WQEB hot dogs that do good. So you can either say 97.3 or you can just go to hot dogs that do good. Okay, you should know all of our taglines. All right. Okay, so those are all things that you guys need to know. When we get to 02, we will come back and go over the package. But this first part in your training manual is part of your 01. These are things that you should know. Okay, so what I want you to do is you're going to create your second assignment. Go to the handbook now. Let's go to the handbook. You're going to also create, okay, you're going to create a PowerPoint. So let's say this, one sheet in your PowerPoint is going to be the dress code page, okay, with your 3 examples with the camouflage, the black and denim business casual, and then the all black business casual, okay? That should be your first page. Your second page in your PowerPoint is going to be on brand identity. It's going to be on QEB's brand identity. So go back to the handbook. On that page, I want you to have all those items that we just went over. I want all of those items on that page, but I also want to see, you put the taglines. I want you to go find images that you think represent. I want you to find an image that represents each tagline. You want to go on our social media page and you're going to find an image or a post that represents each tagline. Okay. And I want you to design it in a way that includes both green, neon green, and black, because those are our main colors. Our main brand color is neon green, but we always accent it with black, red, or white. So I want you to take a post, and I want to see a post that has those taglines, okay, on it. So there's what, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 taglines. So your second assignment is to find me images from social media or from the website that represents those taglines. Okay, that's an example of those taglines. Let's go to the handbook. Okay. Now, introduction. Hot dogs that do good. We now know that that is what? What would we call that?
Slogan
Tagline.
Tagline.
or
It's
tagline.
a slogan, tagline, yes. QEB Foundation was created the WQEB 97.3 Radio Cafe as a full service to community service model. Proceeds benefit scholarships, grants, community projects like Cafe City. Cafe stands for Community Alliance for Empowerment, okay? But it's projects like Radio Cafe and Cafe City. Now, our whole purpose is Cafe City is a housing initiative to feed, clothe, and house disadvantaged families. We also support at-risk youth. It is our answer to food insecurity and the mass evictions due to the pandemic. Now, we have 6 main departments, okay? We actually have 7 departments. Administration is 1 department, but we have 6 departments that are journalism, okay? That includes journalism. And you guys need to know these departments. And again, you're going to create a page, another page in your PowerPoint showing me images that represent the different types of news under each department, so that I know that you know what's under each department. Okay. So the first one is, since it's up here in this order, is community. Community is politics, health, and education. Food is food and drinks, food and beverage. That's pretty self-explanatory. Entrees, snacks, because it's different types of food. So it could be snacks, it could be entrees, drinks, beverages, all of that. Breakfast, dinner, lunch, all that good stuff. Now for radio covers business, finance, and Black women. Okay, in general Black women, human interest, Black women. Fashion is fashion. We would cover sneaker culture. We would cover high fashion, and we would of course cover like ready to wear under fashion. Fashion also would include beauty, skincare, and hair care would also be under fashion. Music, you should know the genres: hip hop, country, pop, R&B, and world. Okay, we do cover some rock as well, but those are like the main things as far as music goes. We do also cover music, like arts, music arts. So not just recording music, but like the symphony and all that type stuff. We would also cover those types of stories too. Film is broken up into sports, TV, movies, anime, like animations, and video games. Oh, radio also covers consumer tech. Okay, consumer tech, except for video games, but any other type of consumer tech, because that goes under business. So it's business, technology, and finance, and general Black women interests under radio. Okay, so show me that you understand what is covered in each department. So that would be another page. Okay. All right. So about QEB. Now, about me, Queen, you're going to do another page. Okay, you're going to go on there and look for posts. You're going to do some research on me, and you're going to look for posts. And if you had to pitch me as a talent, you had to sell me as a talent to someone, I want you to go and find 3 images or 3 pieces of content, because it can be a picture, it could be a video, 3 pieces of content that describes the bio that you're reading here. So you're going to read this bio and you're going to look for 3 selling points. Okay, 3 selling points from this bio, and you have to find content to match each of those selling points. Okay, because this is going to be your selling point to why somebody should interview with me. Why should they interview with Queen Evelina? What makes Queen Evelina so special, being that I am the face of WQEB 97.3? So what are my, based off my bio, what are my 3 selling points? And I want you to go find content to match those 3 selling points. Okay, so this is going to definitely require you to do some research and some deep dive, okay, on me. You can read the bio on your own. I'm not going to read it to you. Now, moving along. Can we move along, or we got any questions? Any questions about the first, what is that, 4 assignments so far? Dress code, departments, Queen as a talent, and what was the other one? The other one, what did I give y'all?
I don't know what's on the first page for our PowerPoint.
Was it no?
Oh, it was to go find first page of your PowerPoint would be the dress code.
Okay.
Yeah, the dress code. And the second page has to do with the taglines. That was what it was. You're going to create some images to go find images on our website and our social media pages to represent those taglines. So the first page will be the dress code. Second page should be your taglines. Third page should be the departments. Okay, the 6 images that match the 6 departments, so we know you understand what type of journalism is covered in each department. And then your 4th page should be the 3 selling points. Okay, 3 pieces of content that represent the 3 selling points on Queen as a journalist. Okay, and keep in mind the question that you're trying to answer is, why should people interview with me? What is my wow factor? Based off of my bio, what do you consider to be my wow factor? Okay. These are things you need to know. Okay. I want to make sure, because you got to know who I am. You should know my background. I don't have to promote myself. You guys should know my background. So go do some research. Don't just depend on just this bio. Go do some research, see what you can dig up and what you can find. And I want to know, what is your 3 selling points to why somebody should interview with me? Okay, should do an interview with me. All right, now, rules of engagement, how to salute the Queen. You may call me Queen, Queen Evelina, QEB. Some people call me Q. I'm okay with that. Other people may call me Q. They may call me the Queen, the Rose, or the Genius. In college, they always call me the Genius because I knew how to make something out of nothing, okay? So know how to address me. Some of y'all may call me Miss Queen. That's incorrect. That is not my name. That is not even a proper way to address me. My actual title is Queen. That's why I have 2 first names. It's Queen, Queen Evelina, QEB, and I don't mind y'all calling me Q. I might need to add that on here, Miss Queen, because that's like a nickname. I just take it as a term of endearment from my team. But please know that you can call me Miss Queen, but you should not have other people calling me Miss Queen. Because when you do that, you're messing with my brand. I don't say nothing to y'all until we get the training, because you don't know no better. But now you know. That messes with my brand. It takes away my brand. It's Queen Evelina, so that they understand, yes, ma'am, I am noble. I don't need the crown of England to tell me that I'm noble. I don't need that. I already know, because of the work that I do in the community, that justifies it. And it's my name. Okay. They can go look that up. And it is my legal name too. So let's be clear about that. Queen Evelina, QEB. That is what I prefer. Okay. That's preferred. But I know y'all got y'all nicknames. Y'all can call me by your own nickname. But again, when you're talking to other people, you need to call me by my brand, because, we don't want to mess with my brand. Now, second, what is common sense in the workplace? Make your boss's weaknesses your strength. Okay. When you hear that, what do you think that means, Monet?
I believe that means that whatever your boss might not have as much knowledge, you're supposed to go find that, or you're supposed to have that knowledge for your boss. So when they're in need, you're able to assist them with that.
Okay. Kennedy.
Shoot. My bad. I was on mute. Listening, listening and asking questions when needing help. I've been
Okay,
learning to
hold
just shut
on.
up and
Is
just
some other
like listen to
people
you.
okay.
But when I need help and I ask questions, you definitely don't mind explaining it. You just don't like having to repeat yourself on repeat. Like when you explain it, we got to make sure we get it. If we got to take notes to make sure we remember it, then that's fine. But listening, following directions.
Okay. Terrio, what do you think that means? Make your boss's weaknesses your strength, your strength.
Be useful, be a vibe.
Right, right. So it's not necessarily that your boss doesn't have the knowledge. Your boss may not have time to go and get it or gather it, kind of like what you were saying, Monet. I just want to be very clear. Bosses do not, well, I'm not going to say that. Okay, as an employee, you're not going to be smarter than your boss. You don't have more. I just want to be very clear. You don't have more knowledge than your boss does, but your boss may not be able to apply the knowledge at that time. And that's where you become their weakness. Whatever their weakness is, you become their strength. Like when I tell y'all to go and find artists, it's not that I can't do it or that I don't know who's out there popping. It's just I don't have the time. So it's more a time thing because if you think about it, what do you get paid for? You really get paid for your time. So it's the time that you're putting in and then your ability to follow directions. Now, when a boss is hiring you because of your intelligence, it's usually because you are a consultant or you're somebody that's like outside of the company that they're having come in so that they can get like to another level. But that's generally what that means. Okay. Always remember that. So if your boss cannot do something or doesn't have the time, it's always mostly related to time. You need to make sure that you're doing it and you're getting it done. Kind of like what y'all did the other day when I was going through whatever I was going through and y'all was already working on the news because you already learned and you learned the system and the formula. Therefore, you knew what you was doing. That was what you were supposed to be doing. You don't wait on your boss to tell you every day what the format and the formula of news is if you've already done news. You're not an asset if you don't know how to do it without your boss telling you to do it. So I was very proud of y'all for doing that day and being able to walk in there and see that y'all had already pulled birthdays and somebody had already pulled the news links. And I'm like, oh yeah, we got it. We definitely got a team now because they're getting it. That's what you're supposed to do. Okay, now you can't get to the top without mastering all the steps. What do you think that means, Kennedy?
I feel like what that means is basically studying, going over what we like, going over our notes, putting our notes into action. So like not
Mm-hmm.
see not but not just going off like you know and everything. Like basically following directions, following each step.
Right,
I'm sorry, I'm
right.
kind of distracted. It's a lot going on right now.
Yes, yeah, yeah, exactly. So that would be it. Don't skip steps because sometimes people come into the company, and this is why I have that rule about if you got ideas, write it down. Because if you come in and you start with, oh, I don't know, we should, bruh, you don't even know what we doing yet or how we do what we do, but you coming in with all this extra, and it's like, nah, no, wait until you learn the steps. Wait until you get trained. Wait till you get to a certain level. Then when I request it, you can bring it to me because you will bring it in what? The proper format because you have what? Mastered the steps. So now you know what you're doing. Kind of like the overview process. You know, you got to go through the overview first. Then you got to go through the second interview. Then you go through the trial with us. There's a reason why we do that. We don't want people skipping steps. Now we can give them the interview process out of order. Like I can put you on a trial and then do your second interview, but you will not do a second interview or third interview assignment without doing the overview first because you don't even know what you're walking into. So that's why we have the steps that we do. We don't hire people unless they have actually gone through the trial process. And if you haven't gone through those first three interviews, we don't put you in O1. You don't get to go into orientation because then you're missing steps. Now we will still have you working and assisting us, but it's not time for you to get the knowledge yet because we got to know like, okay, this person knows how to listen and they know how to follow directions. We know you know how to research. We know you know how to create artwork. So now orientation is going to make sense. Do you kind of get what I'm saying? So you're going to see how your orientation matches the work that you do every day. Now, Learn it even if it's not in the job description. What does that mean to you, Terrio?
Be good in all fields and everything you do, cause you could like need me for something that other people might be busy. Like they
Right.
might be
And
busy.
it's like, right. Cross training is really important. It's like
And
really, really important because like you said, I might need you. So if even if it's not in your job description, but you know how to do it, that makes you a greater asset to the company. You kind of get what I'm saying? Like, Monet, your writing is good. And I was like, now I got to start making everybody go look at your posts because the way that you write is how I want the writing to be done. Like that. I used to have another girl who was in college and she wrote just like that. And I didn't think that I would ever be able to find another person that could write like that, where it was funny and it was like engaging and they got it. Because if we're targeting 23 to 33, it has to be in the voice of a 23 to 33. Does that make sense? It has to be professional, like somebody seasoned like me, as far as the presentation, but the voice has to match the consumer that we trying to match with. Am I right? You kind of get what I'm saying? So remember, everything goes back to our target consumer. So I like the way your voice in the post. So I'm gonna start having everybody kind of look at your writing so that they can get an idea of how to write. So that's exactly that. You're hired by people to make their lives more comfortable and their company more profitable. Monet, what does that mean to you?
You're hired by people to make their lives more comfortable and their company more profitable. So you're not there to make friends. You're not here to really like get in tune with people's personal lives. You're there to make
Mhm.
money, and you're there to because they know that you have the resources to make their company more profitable.
That's right. That's what you get hired for. Embrace criticism. Who want to jump in? Go ahead, Kennedy. Go ahead.
Because your boss gives you very much critique. Feedback does not mean that she's being hard on you or that she's mad. She just sees your passion and she wants you to do better. She wants you to definitely like shoot for the stars. If she ain't saying
Right.
nothing or any of your bosses ain't saying nothing, that mean they don't care. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Or they're going to fire you. This is what I tell people because I know sometimes I can be a little intense or overwhelming for some folks, but this is what I tell people. I have a choice. I can either correct you or fire you. So if I'm correcting you, it doesn't mean that you're bad or that you're wrong. It just means it's not on brand. That's how I want people to start looking at it, because you are hired to help expand the brand and increase the brand. So if I'm correcting you, it's only because it's not on brand and we need to get on brand, or because it's not professional and we need to be professional. I don't want people thinking that I'm saying they're wrong or they're bad people. Sometimes y'all come up with really great ideas, but it's just not the right time, or we're missing steps. Like, before we can get to that idea, let's get to these steps so that when we do that idea, we can go all out. You see what I'm saying? We can give it our all, we can give it 100%. But if we're missing pieces, nobody wins. So you got to embrace criticism. You have to understand, as the boss, it is my job to tell you what to do. When you decide you don't want me to tell you what to do no more, then you don't want me as your boss, and we can part as friends. It's really just that simple. No hard feelings, no nothing. And while we talking about this, let me say this. You guys signed a contract. You guys signed an NDA. I don't know if you don't know what an NDA is, but let me make this very clear. Don't talk about me when you leave. You can't even tell people that you got fired, and you cannot tell people that you quit. It's none of their business. All you can say is, I don't work at that company no more. Anytime you tell people you got fired or you quit, you're opening the door for people to start investigating and questioning the situation. And that's wrong, because if I'm not there to defend myself, it's not something you should even be saying or talking about. Please don't talk about me. I work way too hard to build my brand. And y'all already know I got haters. Y'all know these folks out here be hating. They be ready to say everything negative about me, but won't tell nobody nothing positive that I done did for them, or that I'm the boss. You know how many times it's like, oh, you want to control me, you want to tell me what to do. That's a part of management. What are you talking about? That is a part of management, organization, training, conflict resolution, control. All of that's a part of management. What, baby? What are we talking about here? But I understand some people have an issue with authority. That's why we say, oh, you got an issue with authority. because you're basically telling me you don't want me to tell you what to do. Then that means you don't want to work for me, because I'm only paying people that follow my directions. I'm not paying nobody for their ideas. I'm not paying anybody really for their creativity. Those are bonuses. Those are incentives. You get what I'm saying? I'm paying you to implement whatever plan I created as the boss. You get what I'm saying? Now, I want us to collectively do things and come together and do things, but it takes time to get there. It really takes time, because again, we got 90 days before you out of probation. So as of right now, you suspect. I need you to understand that. You suspect, you a battery. Let's say you a battery right now. You trying to get up to a bestie. But if we find out you a buddy, we gonna get rid of you. So let me explain to y'all the B system real quick. Batteries are people that are here to energize the company. It's gonna be people that come in, it's gonna be people that go out, but they do not disrupt the process. Buddies are people who pretend to care about what we're doing, and they really try to sabotage or disrupt the process. Like that girl, no, Kennedy, dang, you wasn't around. Y'all wasn't around. Woo, this chick. Okay, let me give you an example. When somebody get mad at me and they go off in the group chat, like, that's a buddy. That's a buddy. That's not a battery. That's not a professional. That's not nothing. Because I will not personally talk to them, or because they can't get on the phone with me, they go off in the group chat. People who go in the group chat to tell y'all that they quit. Why are you talking to my team? I usually be like, why are you talking to my team? This is not your team. This is my team. But people who feel the need to be seen and heard by their coworkers, those are buddies. Because your coworker does not pay you, and your coworker is not training you, and your coworker did not hire you. So your only friend in this company should be the boss and or your supervisor. That's who you should be giving your energy, your loyalty to, all of that. But if that person is running their mouth trying to be seen and heard, please snitch on them, okay? I want you to snitch on them. That is a buddy, and we need to get rid of them, because that person is not focused. They're here to distract. That's what they're here for. What is it? Kills, seek, what is the phrase? Y'all know, something and destroy. Y'all know what the phrase is, because y'all done heard it before.
Still kill and
Eat,
destroy.
kill, destroy.
What is it?
Still kill and destroy.
Still kill and destroy. There we go. That's a buddy. Not a bestie. Now, we're not going to say we ain't going to have no conflict. Now, we're going to have disagreements, because we family, and family fight. That's just what it is. We're going to have disagreements. But the idea is that the end resolution should be to what? Move the brand forward, because that's what you're hired for. I'm not expecting you to agree and to like everything that we're doing, but I am expecting you to understand that the end goal is to move the brand forward. Nobody knows more than me and better than me. This is my baby. This is my brand. I am the face of the brand. Do you understand? So you need to be tapping into me and learning more about me so you can represent me. When you go out in that field, you are not representing just yourself. You are representing WQEB 97.3. You representing me, and therefore you're representing who? Everybody else that's a member of the team. So you can't be out there acting crazy. We're not at industry training. When you get the industry training, that's when you're representing yourself and the company. But as of right now, it's mainly WQEB 97.3. Don't nobody know you except the people that know you. But most people you're going to connect with on behalf of the company will not know you. They would have never heard of you, and they would have never heard of our company. But guess who got the access? WQEB 97.3. So, in the illustrious words of the Temptations, nobody is bigger than the band. No, what is it? Nobody's bigger than the group. Okay? Nobody's bigger than the group. If you Otis, you gotta go. Not Otis. What was the one, the crazy one? David Ruffin. We don't need no David Ruffins up in here, okay? We don't need no David Ruffins. All right? We getting rid of all the David Ruffins. We getting rid of all of them. But yes, nobody's bigger than the group. Not even me. Nobody is bigger than the group. Nobody. Even the things that I do cannot damage WQEB 97.3, because that's who you work for, right? So the things I do and how I portray and present has an effect on y'all. But at the end of the day, I know what is best for the business. But if it's something that you feel, maybe isn't working, put it in a presentation, make sure to add a budget to it, and have a potential sponsor behind it. Don't just come to me telling me you don't like my flyers. No, have the flyer already done and made. You don't have to tell me that you don't like something. If you find that you don't like the website, you ain't got to tell me that. Go build one. Go find somebody to build one and then show it to me. So that's what I tell people, because it's rude to tell me how to spend my money, and it's rude to tell me you don't like something that I put out. Why are you here then? Do you understand what I'm saying? Sometimes we don't have certain things because we don't have the money. And the reason we don't have the money is because people are very focused on trying to tell me what to do and trying to be seen and heard because they're a buddy, not a bestie. And it throws the business off. Okay, it throws the business off. So we don't want no more of that, which is why I can easily go into the type of worker that we value. We value people who are coachable. That means they're listeners. We value people who are mobile. They're ready to move whenever we need to move. When I move, you move when I move. I should never be waiting on you. If you're going anywhere with me, I will leave you if you are not where you're supposed to be at. Okay. And even if I roll with you, I will call an Uber or a Lyft. So don't think because I roll with you, that means I'm going to sit and wait on you. Trust me, I get around. So you need to be mobile, bilingual. Now, when I say bilingual, I don't just mean learning these other languages. I mean, you need to be able to handle yourself on the block in the boardroom. We call that as Black people, we call that what? Code switching. I'm going to need you to be able to code switch. Okay, because the way I may talk on here may not be the way that I talk when I'm in an interview, may not be the way I talk when I'm in front of a customer, but I don't do respectability politics. I keep it authentic. But I know how to code switch when need be, when it is necessary, when it's going to make me money. If it is not going to make me money, I'm going to be like Ryan Coogler. My accent is my accent. Until you pay me, you writing a check, I don't want to hear your opinion or what you think about it because I'm making my money. Okay, I make my money. All right, great. Now, you need to also be a return on the investment. Nobody is hiring you to pay your bills. People are hiring you to what? Make their company what? Profitable and more comfortable. I should not have a bunch of people working for me and I'm still doing all the work. But we're going to find that out this week, right? When we get to it, we're going to find out who really bought this bag, who trying to really get to the bag and who's BSing about it. And y'all already know I'm straightforward, so you know I'm gonna call you out. So y'all better tell y'all coworkers, don't come in here playing, okay, this week, because we trying to get to this money. Now the work ethic, what does that look like? What does a good work ethic look like here at WQEB 97.3? You guys can read that page on your own, okay? Adaptability, self-motivation, but I actually want to change that to determination, because it's not that y'all ain't self-motivated. Sometimes people are not determined, meaning they will start but not finish. It takes motivation to start, but it takes determination to finish. So we're going to change that to determination, but y'all can read that. Accountability, time management, business etiquette, such as honoring your NDA and not talking about Queen. Business etiquette, not saying things to Queen in front of the group, pulling me aside or texting me if it's urgent, or setting an appointment, not blurting stuff out. That's business etiquette. Even if you mad at me, I don't care what you say to me. When you mad, you have free liberty and disclaimer to say whatever it is you need to say, how you need to say it, if it's you and me. If it's you and me. But if you try me in front of people, in front of a group of people, because I won't do you like that unless you do something to me to offend me in front of people. I will never embarrass you in front of a group unless you have embarrassed me in front of the group. I do believe in reciprocity. So always know when I do say something to somebody, and if I spaz on them, it's because I've already talked to that person twice and they keep trying me. But now that I've learned my lesson in quiet darkness, I probably won't be spazzing out on people in public. And y'all hold me to that. I probably won't be spazzing out. I know y'all gonna get kiki out of me spazzing out on people, but I probably won't be doing that because now that I know that that's quiet darkness, I will just get rid of that person. Okay, I would just get rid of them because I didn't know how to deal with it, because I didn't know that I was dealing with quiet darkness. See, loud darkness is easy and it's obvious. So you can cut it off like this. It's that them sneaky people, you know what I'm saying? Them nice people, but they not good people. They nice, but they not good people. Them people right there, I had to learn about them this past weekend. Now I done learned my lesson. Y'all hold me to it, okay? You hold me accountable as well. So all of these rules, they don't just apply to y'all, it also applies to me. Again, we are family here. We want iron to sharpen iron, gold to shine gold. Okay? All right, great. Now, perception is reality. Competence. Know what you're doing. Know that you know what you're doing, then be known for what you know. These things are part of the work ethic, okay? This is what a WQEB work ethic includes. Do y'all have any questions? Y'all can read it more in depth on your own. Does anybody have any questions? Make sure to read the sidebar about definition of modeling and definition of prostitution. Okay. If you don't walk when I walk and talk when I talk, you're not modeling me. You are prostituting yourself. Okay. And if you're gonna act like a hoe and be a hoe, I'm gonna call you a hoe. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you that because I be telling people that, and they used to make jokes back in the day. My interns used to make jokes because I would call people hoes because that was what they were doing. They was being professional hoes. They were being career hoes because they was trying to steal my light and steal my thunder. I put a lot of hours, time, and energy. So please don't think because I'm training you, that means we're on the same level of intellect. We are not. There are things that you can do that I can't do. So we never will have the same level of intelligence, but what we do need to have is the same level of what? Understanding. Okay, understanding. So please know the difference. People who get it confused, them the hoes and the buddies, and we get rid of them. Okay, so we get rid of the hoes and the buddies. We only want what? Batteries and besties. That's all we want, batteries and besties. People who are going to energize the company, not cause a disruption, come when they come, go when they go, and people who are diehard for WQEB. Those are people we want to work with. Snitch on them. I'm telling you, snitch on people. I do not want people talking crazy about me or talking crazy about our task, our assignments, or our training, and y'all not telling me, y'all not letting me know this person is a hater behind the scenes, because it's going to affect your experience with me, and it's going to affect our money at the end of the day. So you don't want nobody coming in here affecting me, because that means it's messing with your money. And if you are here to make money, that means you shouldn't be letting no other coworker mess with me or not follow directions. You need to be like, hey, we need to get rid of such and such because she ain't doing what she say she gonna do. It's business, not personal. Okay. All right. So I know y'all got a lot. So before I go into the marketing, do we have any questions regarding the first 4 assignments? I think y'all still only got 4 assignments at this point. Are we good on those first 4 assignments? Everybody good? We're still good? Because I want to watch our energy. Do y'all think y'all got time for another 20 minutes? Or you want to stop right here?
I actually have something to do at 9. So I have to
I
start
said
getting
20
ready.
minutes.
No,
Oh,
I
you
gotta
got to
get
get
ready
ready
now.
for it.
Yeah, I gotta start getting ready now because they're
Okay.
gonna pick me up.
Okay, cool. Monet, Terrio, we good? Y'all are good? Okay, you
I
got to
should be
unmute.
good. Yeah, I should be good right now.
Okay, because now we're going into the marketing part. All right. Okay, thank you, Kennedy. You'll have to just listen to the playback. When they play back,
Okay.
you listen to playback. Okay.
All right, I will. Bye, y'all.
All right. Okay, so now we're going into target audience. Okay, so again, primary ages 18 to 35, Black women. Secondary BIPOC, well, not really BIPOC, because the way these Indian people be acting and some of these Latinos be acting online, I'm not even using that phrase BIPOC no more. Black, or women ages 25 to 45. So that is our secondary target. Okay. First is Black women ages 18 to 35, Black people in general, or women ages 25 to 45 in general. Okay. What made me start all of this? In the pursuit of my dreams as an A-list media personality, I just got tired of going to all these websites to network, find love, make money. So I thought, what if I create a website that could entertain, educate the public while helping them connect with others and increase their romance and finance? 58% of Black women are married. So as a single Black female entrepreneur, I feel it's my duty to simplify this process. If I'm going to change my reality, then I have to start with the perception of Black women. There is no more powerful tool than media when it comes to perceptions. Now, when I wrote this is my mission statement, my founder statement. When I had wrote this, it was way before Facebook Watch, Facebook Personals, YouTube Watch. Like, this was way before any of that. Now they was able, YouTube and all of them, they was able to get their stuff popping because they had the capital to do it. You know, as a Black founder, we don't really have that much access to capital as other groups of people do. So I'm still developing my app, but there are still things on our app that nobody else is doing. So they still haven't thought of everything, but there's still things that we will be doing that nobody else is doing. So hooray for that. Now, if you need a more concrete analysis of the industry and why we chose Black women as our target consumer, you can go ahead and read the rest of the target audience. Okay, it's going to give you all the statistics there to let you know why we're targeting this particular demographic. Okay, so you read that on your own. Now we're going to get into selling. Now, a lot of people, when I talk about promotions, they think that they're selling a product. Really, what you're doing is you're really selling yourself. Even though you are talking about me and you're talking about the radio station, at the end of the day, you are selling yourself. If you don't have the confidence and you don't have the knowledge and intelligence to actually communicate the product, people are not going to buy it. It doesn't matter how good the product is, doesn't matter how good it smells, how good it tastes. If the representative sucks, then the perception is that the what product sucks. Okay, so represent me properly. I represented myself good enough to what? Attract you as a staffer, right? So please do the same. Give me the same. All right. Okay. So now you got to go out here and attract consumers. I attracted you. Your job is to attract the consumers. All right. Now we know who that consumer is. How do you break down selling yourself? Okay. People don't buy products. They buy you and or the words in the form of a message. Okay. The better quality and more quantity of the message, the more influence or power that it has. So when we talked earlier about getting interviews and how I say the initial product that we sell the public is interviewing with us, the opportunity to interview with us. And from that interview, we flip it for a sponsorship of an event. We flip it for advertising, general advertising, or we flip it into a showcase or some other form of a performance slot if we're dealing with what? An artist, right? That is what we do. But the initial product is the opportunity to interview with us. There's two ways that you sell yourself, okay? There's two ways that the self is divided. The first is hedonic power, which is the feminine and by what? Nature. The second is agonic power, and that's your masculine side, and that is what is nurtured, okay? So your feminine is what you're born with. And if you don't believe me, there's more what? X chromosomes than there's what? Y chromosomes. So am I lying? So what comes natural to you is feminine because everybody got an X, but everybody don't have a Y. Do you see what I'm saying? So the natural is the X. The nurtured is the Y. Okay, is the Y. That's your masculine. So how do we break it down? Hedonic power. Here are the 4 P's of hedonic power. The first P is presence. When you meet people, they feel your what? Vibe. They feel your energy. So always be aware of your presence on people. The second is your presentation, what you look like. People are going to judge you on what you look like. So if you represent WQEB, you need to what? Be in uniform. Be in uniform. Because your presentation is how they're going to judge you. Thus, that's how they're going to judge what? Our product, right? Okay. The third P is personality. How you interact with other people. So people first feel you, then they see you, then they what? Experience you. That's your personality. The last would be your position. So hedonic power can also be your position, and basically your position could be like your birthright. Your position could also end up being your status. You get what I'm saying? Your status or social standing is your positioning. Okay. All of that affects what becomes part of your hedonic power, which is the ability to influence through who you are. Who you are. Okay. Now, agonic power, we have the 4 E's of agonic power. Ooh. Okay, there we go. I'm sorry. Of agonic power. All right. Sorry about that, y'all. I don't know what's going on with this phone. It just started spazzing out. Started spazzing out on me. Okay. So with the agonic power, we got the 4 E's of agonic power. The first E is education. Okay. So think about when you're born. you are what? Taught things. You have to learn how to talk. You have to learn how to walk. Okay, so the first thing you do is education. The second thing you do is experience. Okay, so you have education and then you have actual experience. Now, experience in this term is your application of your education, of the education. So the application of the education is experience. Okay, your real life, I've applied what I've been able to learn. The third E is execution. Okay, that's your ability to follow through, because just because you what apply something does not mean you what get to the finish line. So it's education, education, experience, execution, the ability to go from A to Z, to follow through. And then the last is expertise. Be the best at what you do, your expertise. So those are the 4 E's to your organic power. You got the knowledge, you apply the knowledge, right? You follow through to the end of that knowledge, then you become the best at that knowledge. So education, experience, execution, expertise, all of that define your organic power. Okay, according to WQEB. So that goes back to knowing what you're doing. Why we have to, when you go back to the beginning of what we just learned about common sense in the workplace, this is why you have to master all the steps. You got to first learn what it is so that you can actually apply it, so you can actually follow through on what needs to be done, and then you'll be really good at it. Okay, so you have to make sure that there's a balance between your hedonic power and your organic power in the workplace. Okay, while you're working, this is how it's defined in the workplace. Y'all have any questions about hedonic and organic power before we move on? Okay, great. Life is like a game of chess. We're going to skip the spiritual part. If y'all want to do that, we're learning the, your colors, favorite color, favorite number, favorite flora, favorite fauna. We can do that one-on-one. Okay, if you want to learn your energies, I can tell you from a spiritual standpoint what your hedonic and organic powers are as well. Basically, your masculine and feminine energy as it relates to your mythology, aka the Orishas. And that helps people a lot. We're learning more about themselves. So the more self-aware you become, the more you begin to understand why people receive you the way that they do. Why do they react to you the way that they do? And when you do, that is when you're able to control what you put out. But we call that PR. Okay, we call that PR. So keep that in mind. I want y'all to remember that. Self-awareness is how you sell yourself. You cannot sell yourself without being self-aware. And that all leads to being able to, I hate to use the word manipulate, but it leads to you being able to control the image and what you put out. Okay, but you got to first be self-aware. Life is like a game of chess. The winning move is always with the queen. Okay, so in the game of chess, you got 8 pawns, which is your foes. You always have more enemies or more challenges in life than you do anything else. Okay, you have 2 knights. That's just like your family. You got a mom and a dad, which goes back to you have what? Masculine and feminine energy. You got 2 bishops. That's your faith. Your faith, there's always right and wrong, light and dark. Okay, I always say there's no such thing as right and wrong. It's all subjective to whatever you got going on. Okay, you determine it based off what your journey is. So that becomes your fate. But keep this in mind. The challenges that you have dictate what type of masculine and feminine energy you were born into, aka your mom and dad, so that you have a belief system. Your belief system is passed down to you from your mom and your dad initially. Then you begin to share that same belief system with your friends, which is the rook. And the rook is the piece that you got in the corner, and the people you got in the corner are your quote unquote friends. Okay, your queen is your focus. So when I say it's always the winning move is always with the queen, I'm talking about your focus. Whatever you focus on is what you will produce in the future, or what do we like to call that? Manifestation. So if you focus on negative things, your future, your king is going to be what? Negative. If you focus on positive things, then your king is going to be what? Positive. So if you focus on it with this job on the things that will generate money and bring prosperity to the company, then you will have success with this company. So keep that in mind. Your focus is what you win with. So don't get caught up in drama. Make sure you follow through on assignments. Don't allow your life to interrupt whatever you're learning from me or what we got going on, because again, it's going to have an effect. Now, any questions about that? Okay, a great movie that I recommend you guys watch is Fresh. Fresh is a great interpretation of the chess game and how it relates to life. Okay, now this is one of my favorite parts. Oops, my bad. Let me go back. 5 P's of business. I'm sorry, I skipped the 5 P's of business. This is self-explanatory. Proper planning prevents poor performance. Pretty self-explanatory. Proper planning prevents poor performance. In the terms of radio, that we always start with programming. So when you did your 3 artists, your 3 businesses, and your 3 events, you was programming. So what we call your spreadsheet and your database is really your program log. Why is that your program log? Because what is programming? Programming is, okay, what are we going to actually produce? We have to think about what we're going to produce and why we're going to produce it. And so the programming is the actual setup that, okay, we want 3 artists, we want 3 businesses, and we want 3 events. When you actually create that spreadsheet, you are programming at that point. When we begin to reach out to the artists and the businesses and the events, and we begin to develop questions and all of that with them, we are what? Producing. When you go out and provide the resources for the structure, okay? Because programming is the structure. Producing is the resources that gets put inside of that structure. So proper planning prevents poor performance. So always remember, we always start with what? A program in radio. Everything's got to start with the programming. You got to have a log of what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and then you can decide who's the best pieces to fill in to get it done. So programming will always come before what? Production. And once it's out there and we drop the production and it's produced, it becomes what? News. It becomes news because it's what's happening. News is what's happening. So you see how there is a flow to what we're doing? Programming, production, news. And once the news is out there, it leads to what? Money, sales, promotion, because of the eyeballs, the attention that we're attracting. So now people want to make money with us. Okay, which means money in your pocket. Proper planning prevents poor performance. So we always got to start with a proper program so we can have proper production, so we can actually do news, so it can lead to sales. Okay, great. We understand each other. Now, 5 P's of merchandising. Having the right product or at the right price, in the right place, with the right promotion, by the right people. So let's talk about some examples of that. Okay, I'm gonna give you a real world example, and then I'm gonna give you the WQEB example. So having the right product, Akon. What that really means is having a wow factor. What made Akon so successful is that he was the first African to do what he did. Without Akon, there would be no Afrobeats, there'd be no Amapiano, not on a mainstream level. It would not exist. We first got introduced in the 70s by what's his name, File, and then earlier on, Akon. Okay, proper product, having a wow factor. Now, what is our wow factor? Our wow factor is our interview. And what makes our interview wow? Our interview has a wow factor because the content can be done in many different ways. We can do it in studio, we can do it on the scene, we can do it live stream. We can do it as a pre-recorded spot, okay? So that's what kind of makes our product, gives it its wow factor. But also, when they come to get an interview, they can also eat because we are a radio cafe. So our niche, okay, which is another way of saying wow factor, is the fact that we have a kitchen. That's what sets us aside from CNN, from V103, from the Shade Room. They don't have no kitchen, but we're an actual radio cafe. So our actual business model is what is our wow factor, that we are not just a radio station, but a radio cafe. Now, the right price, Walmart, if you make your product affordable to 80% of the people, you're more likely to make a sale. And that's why we know Walmart is known for its lower prices. That's why when you go to Walmart, you go there for what? One thing, and then you end up buying several things. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's kind of what we do. We only ask for $10 with our interview. Hey, you want to come do a radio spot? It's just $10 to start with, because then we will upsell you to other products. But the idea is either booking the interview for free and upselling them for what? Advertising, sponsorship, or a performance slot. Or we try to get the $10 on the back end and say, hey, could you just make like a donation? We made it what? Affordable, so that everyone can do business with us, and they're more likely to donate to us because we made it affordable to 80% of the people in the world. Okay, awesome. Now, place, Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is a great example. I actually kind of gave you the Coca-Cola example when I talked about the different formats of the interview that we did. I meant to say our wow factor with our product is that we are not just a radio station, but we are kitchen. So you don't just get an interview, but you also get to come and get and eat food. You know, it's all the same brand. But Coca-Cola, what we learned about Coca-Cola is being adaptable. And we are our content is adaptable. Not only can the interview, once again, be a pre-recorded spot, it can be in studio, it can be a live stream, or it can be on the scene. You can also get our content through social media. You can get our content through our app as well and through the website. So all of those things actually matter, because with Coke, you can get Coke in a can, you can get it in a bottle. You can get Coke out of a vending machine. You can get Coke out of a fountain if you go to a restaurant, right? So you can get Coke at a gas station. So because Coke has such a wide variety of distribution, how they distribute the content, that's what makes them the right place, okay? Being able to have the right place is all about being adaptable. The more adaptable you are, or more distribution channels you have, the more places your content can be. And think about it. If we had a dial or a signal, then you would only be able to listen to us here in Atlanta. But if we have our own app, you can listen to us where? Anywhere in the world. If we are linked to a website, anywhere in the world. So you see how it makes sense? And the app is even better because they're downloaded it directly on their phone. So that makes it more personable. If they have us on their phone and they listen to us. That's where we're trying to get to. And an app makes way more money than a sitting, FM station, being a social media app. All right, moving right along. The right promotion. Ain't nobody better than McDonald's, okay? Ain't nobody promoting better than McDonald's. Number one, their brand identity, okay, with the red and the yellow, and how if you look at their avatar, it looks like fries. Think about it. You got the yellow fries peeking out from the red box. It looks just like their logo. So they're constantly conditioning us to identify their brand and have brand awareness. And when people feel comfortable with something and more familiar with something, they're more likely to buy. Okay, they're more likely to buy. Now, how do we do that? With our promotion, you have the neon green and you have camouflage. Camouflage is our way of being familiar with people. The neon green is bright, so it gets people's attention, and people think what? Money, they think growth, they think all of that. So that's why we, aside from green being my favorite color, but that's why we chose green, but not any green, but neon green, bright green. Camouflage is another one of our homages, because you can go anywhere, anytime during the day, and you see everybody in camouflage. But also, with us being an American country, what is America known for? Her military. So that's another reason why we chose the camouflage as well, because it's also a war out there. So when we say social justice, that camouflage has a lot of meanings. It has to do a lot with our American heritage, and it has a lot to do with what people are familiar with. But it also has a lot to do with what we represent, one of our value systems. So that's why we do the neon green camouflage, okay? Because that is what people are familiar with. Another thing is that we accent with black, red, and white. So that also makes us color-wise, brand identity-wise, people are familiar with us, okay? Because those are Christmas colors. When they see the red and green together, the red, black, and green with the white, it makes people think of Christmas. And who don't love Christmas? So all of that is done on purpose to have the consumer feel a certain type of way, okay? So you guys can have that understanding. Now, besides brand identity, packaging. The way that McDonald's packages everything in threes, we do the same thing. We also, with the promotion, we package it in threes. You start off with the interview, but then you're able to do what? Upsell to a advertiser, a sponsor, or a performance slot. Okay. And we always give people three things. They get access to the radio stream, they get access to our social media, and they get access to our website. So that's our triple promotion. Okay. Always in threes. Now, by the right people. Nobody is beating the people other than Chick-fil-A. We always making jokes and talking about their customer service. The reason why I think that Chick-fil-A has been so successful with choosing the right people is that they make sure that the people that they hire fit their value system. So it's like I tell people, you do not have to be black in order to work here, but you definitely can't be a racist. You can't be anti-black, and you must know that the black woman is the end all be all, is the blueprint. And if you disagree, you don't need to even be working here. You don't even need to be working here because it's already proven that the Black woman is the blueprint going all the way down to the Eve gene, okay, or what they call the mitochondrial DNA. Okay, so this ain't me. This is science, baby. This is not Queen saying that we the blueprint. This is science. This is fact that we are the blueprint. So if you understand that, then it's like, okay, you're really for the culture. And we want to hire people that's for the culture because that's the main tagline that we are promoting. So again, we keep it very transparent over here and make sure people understand what it is at the end of the day. Do y'all have any questions about this page before we move on? Okay, we're doing pretty good on time. All right, QEB. I keep talking about on brand, being on brand. What is the brand? What's our brand messaging? So now that you know the brand identity, what is the brand messaging? The brand messaging is QEB, quality, excellence, and beauty. First thing, quality. Anything that we do, we want to use the best resources. That also include human resources. Number two, excellence. It must be entertaining, meaning it needs to be fun. It needs to be educational. So people should learn something. It needs to be effective. There should be some type of impact, transformation, or change that is happening. And three, efficient. Efficient means the timing has to be right. This is why I say we can't do just because you come up with something doesn't mean it's the right time in order to do it, because it may not be efficient to our process. And if it's not efficient to our process, it's not what? Excellent. So when we say excellent, excellent is broken down into these four different things. Okay, we understand each other. It's broken down into these four different things. Hold on, let me take my alarm off. It's already 8 o'clock. Okay, broken down into these four things. And then beauty. It must always be an attractive presentation. We should never just be posting stuff and putting stuff out and it's not formatted right. It's not in the right style. You get what I'm saying? It's not in the right size format. You have to care about the colors. You have to care about the style. You have to care about the formatting. And you have to also care about the voice, because all of that plays into it being an attractive presentation. And beauty. Okay, we're going to always be improving ourselves. So go to the page and start studying what we do and how we do what we do. So then you will be in alignment. So if I ever say something is off brand, you know why I'm saying it's off brand, because it's not quality. It's missing excellence, or it's not beautiful at all. So it's like, what is this? Okay, that's our brand identity, or what I like to call our brand messaging, or what I like to call QEB centric. Okay. Now, this is one of my favorite parts. The last part. This is how we wrap it back around to what? Selling yourself. This is how we wrap it back around. Remember, I mentioned that PR part and I mentioned that perception is reality part. Okay, cool. Modes of attitude. Anytime you're selling anything to anyone, ignore the examples that's here in the handbook. I keep forgetting I need to update this. When you are talking to people, you're either going to present the information to them in a cognitive manner, an effective manner, or a cognitive manner. Okay, so I'm gonna just give you the answers. If you're dealing with someone and they have cognitive energy, that means what they care about is facts and statistics. That means they want to know how many listeners we have. They care about how many times we post a year. They care about how many listeners we got, views that we're getting, on the post and all of that. They also care about what kind of reach we can have. Like if we're able to boost, they want to hear about facts and stuff and statistics. That's what they care about. How many people are you reaching? How many people can you get me to? If you're not reaching those people yet, that's a cognitive person. They all about the facts. An effective person is all about emotions and feelings. It's how they feel. That's when you want an effective way of talking to people about WQEB is not about our statistics, but it's going to be more about leadership. Who's leading the company? Oh, it's a Black woman leading this company. If you're talking to another Black woman, or if you're talking to another Black person, or if you're talking to another woman, these are the things they're going to care about. They're going to care about the fact that we are helping the homeless and that we're helping at-risk youth. That's an effective way of approaching someone. So, if this is a heartfelt person, you want to hit them and approach them from an effective manner. They don't care about facts and statistics. They care about impact. You kind of get what I'm saying? Now, a cognitive person only cares about one thing. How much does it cost? What is it going to cost them? And they also care about how popular we are. And when I say popular, I mean like they care about our celebrity. They care about like how known we are. And that's a little bit different from our statistics. They care about not like if we have 100 people listening. They care about stuff like, is Meg Thee Stallion on our platform? Did we interview Beyonce? That's what I mean when I say our celebrity or how popular we are. They care about the connections. I was trying to think of what is the word. They care about the cost and what kind of connections we have. That's a cognitive person. That's somebody who's going to buy off an impulse because such and such celebrity gives us a cosign, or because it's at an affordable rate for them. That's a cognitive person. So you got to kind of read people and be able to figure out if you need to present in a cognitive manner, an effective manner, or in a cognitive manner. So your next assignment is going to be on modes of attitude. And you're going to give me examples. I gave you examples. Now I want you to give me illustrations of each example. So you're going to do one of each one, and that's going to be 3. So that's going to be 3 examples, and that's going to be your 5th part of your PowerPoint. Okay. So now if people are tripping, how do you handle them? Okay. Here are the solutions for dealing with negative attitudes. Number 1, use PR. Perception is reality. Seeing is believing. Number 2, fight no's with knowledge. Okay. Fight no's with knowledge. And then number 3, understand that money is attracted, not pursued. This also goes back to hedonic and agonic power. In order to attract money, you got to already be money. And how do you be money? It's through your hedonic and your agonic power. The more you're able to balance out those two, that's why you think I keep my hair done. And when I'm here, like here, I'm chilling, I'm relaxing. But when you guys here, I'm normally in my black, or I'm dressed up, I'm in my business casual, I'm looking professional. I'm looking like I'm got to be looking like money in order if I want people to spend money with me. Okay, so please understand all of these things, they work back together. It is the law of attraction. So it's not just to what you look like, it's also where your mind is at. Because what is it again? Presence, presentation, and personality, and position. Okay, keep that in mind. You are a radio production assistant. You have power simply by being a radio PA, because to an artist, you got power, hedonic power, because you have the ability in order to get them on the radio. So don't downplay the power that you have. And when you read my resume, you see what kind of power I have. So inadvertently, because you work for me, you have access to the power that I have. We don't have the same power, but you do have some access to it to an extent. So don't downplay my bio. When you're talking to people and dealing with people, you do not have to impress them. They have to impress us. There has to be some kind of like alignment and synergy. Okay, so keep that in mind. They're not better than you. They're not better than us. Okay, every artist that's out there needs me, even though the A-list artists, they need us too. Don't think that they don't need us, because guess what? When people stop talking about them, they become what? Less relevant. So they need everybody talking about them, and they constantly need people talking about them. So understand, as a member of the press, that is your position. That automatically gives you power because you are a member of the press. You decide what is news and what is not. We decide what's relevant and what is not. Use that power wisely, working with me. Okay. Now there is one part that I did forget. My bag. I got to go back to the other page. Go back and look at the Stratospheric of Success. I strongly suggest y'all read that book. You can go ahead and read that book on your own. We can get into the marketing format: introduction, story, display, close, and rehash. I normally put the scripts together for y'all, but let me just tell you what it is. Introduction is your salutation. Hi, my name is Queen. Your story is the reason why you contacted them from the QEB Foundation, and we're looking for artists or vendors or businesses, whatever it is we're looking for. That's the story. Then the display is illustration. That's just simply telling them, for as little as $10, you can get an interview. So you have to explain to them what they can get and what that interview comes with, and why it's beneficial to them. And then close is usually telling them how much it is. So maybe you may not do it before or after. It depends on who you're talking to, whether you should mention the price before or after, or even at all. And then the rehash is to ask them if they know anybody that could benefit from our product. So you never leave no money on the table. You close that deal, and then you try to get them to give you referrals, okay, to other people that can benefit, okay, from what we're doing. Now, when you're giving your salutation, make sure that the merchandise matches the market. Don't talk to people that's not in alignment with our consumer, our target consumer. Shouldn't be talking to them. Sex sales. Make sure to smile, be enthusiastic, and level eye contact when you're talking about who you are and where you're from, and why you're giving them a display. When you give them the display and you talk about the benefits of them working with us or doing an interview with us, Cover your ass is what they call it. CYA, cover your ass. Do not oversell, do not undersell. Okay, and KISS. When you're going over the pricing and all of that with people, keep it short and simple. And then, of course, if they decide not to work with us, this is not Southwest, Southwest, Southwest next. It is some will, some won't, so what next. This is business, it's not personal. Don't ever take nothing personal with nobody that you're talking to and dealing with, which is why this is my main thing. And I'm glad that we missed that part and had to come back to it. Because again, if you know who you are, right? When you have your hedonic power and your agonic power in check and in balance, you know who you are. Therefore, you are not looking for people who are interested. Everybody is interested. Okay. So now that you are part of WQEB, I want you to say this after me. There are two kinds of people in the world.
Hedonic and hedonic.
There are two kinds of people in the world.
Oh, there are two types of
Yes,
people.
repeat after me because he didn't repeat after me. We're going to try it again. There are two kinds of people in the world.
There are
There
two
are
types
two kinds of people
of people in the world.
Okay, WQEB people
WQEB
WQEB
people
and those who want to be WQEB.
and
and
those
those
who
who
want to
want
be
to be WQEB.
WQEB.
Okay, so we are not looking for people that are interested. They already interested. If they're talking to you, they're already interested. If we're reaching out to them and they're responding back, they're already interested. That's not what we're looking for. So throw that out your mind. Throw it out, throw it out, throw it out. We're looking for people that are available. There's a difference. We're looking for people that are available. Because if you put out the energy of, I'm trying to find people that would be interested in what we're doing versus you're trying to find people that what align with what we're doing, we just need to know if you're available. If the event is on June the 8th, I only care about people who are available on June the 8th. That's what I look for. Are you available on June the 8th? Okay, great. We got interview. Would you like to interview with us? It's for free. I'm not going to go to somebody and say, hey, are you interested in interviewing? I don't care if you're interested or not. I'm talking to you. Therefore, there's already an interest because there are WQEB people in the world and those who want to be WQEB. So it is a privilege for me to even consider you. So there's no such thing as interested. It's who's in alignment and who's available. Who fits the consumer, the target consumer, and is that person or business available on such and such day and time? And if they are, then we can what? We can do business and we can make some money. But if they're not available, we can't make no money. Because think about it. If they're interested but not available, did we make any money? No. But if they are interested and they're available, did we make money? Yes. Okay. So who are we looking for? People that are available. People that are available. That's what matters. That is the kicker. People who are available. All right. Any questions before we go? Because that's the end of 01. We got through the whole 01. I'm excited without the little, whatever that little kink was, but we got through it. Do y'all have any questions?
No, man.
No.
I mean, I understood
Okay,
it.
so I will ask this part. So Monet, tell me 3 things you learned today that you liked. 3 things that you liked about 01.
Okay, 3 things that I liked about 01 was one, I was scrolling through while you were talking about it, but the 5 P's. What
Which one,
else?
business or merchandising?
Merchandising.
Okay.
Yes. And then I also really liked what you were talking about hedonic power and agonic power. I was gonna ask you because I wanted to know afterwards. I wanna get aligned with that. And then also the life is a game of chess, because that is something that I've never really heard about. And of course, like, everyone kind of knows about chess, but they don't really understand that there is like a life aspect when it comes to that as well. So seeing it was really interesting.
Okay. Okay, great. Terrio?
She just took 2 of mine. So
Okay, what was your 2? What was the 2 you had in common and why?
I was gonna say the chess because I like the way you put it with the pawns, and then how you had the 2 as the faith and the queen, then you had the king as the focus. So
Mm-hmm.
I like that, and she said the hedonic and hedonic. I mean, I never heard of that, so I want to learn about that too. And
Yeah.
yeah, and what would be the third one? Um, it was so much. It was so much. What you say? About selling yourself. I'll go with that. I like
Mhm.
that. It's not you're not selling the product. You're selling yourself.
Right. It's you. At the end of the day, it's literally you. That's why you are hired. You
Mm-hmm.
get what I'm saying? That's why you are hired. It's really you. So I had to sell myself to y'all, and then you got hired. You decided to move forward with this job. Now you have to sell yourself to the consumers so that
Mm-hmm.
we can make money. And I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know to be able to represent this brand properly. As long as you follow directions and you ask questions when you don't understand something or you have a concern, don't assume, ask questions because we're here to learn. I'm going to learn from y'all. Y'all going to learn from me. You understand? And that's how we get things better. And I gave you that example. I love the way you write. That's exactly the type of writing, that I need. I don't have that voice because I'm older, so my voice is a little bit different. But I need that. But I'm smart enough to know this is who needs to be doing the writing, and this is the style of writing that it needs to be if we're going to try to attract this particular type of person.
Mm-hmm.
But that comes with hedonic power. That comes with education, experience, execution, expertise. You see what I'm saying? You see that it works. Just like what we're doing with the flyers. I had this idea, I put it out there, it worked. We got an immediate response. So now it's like, okay, yeah, this is the direction we need to go in. Because we've been calling artists, been reaching out to them. So now we say, okay, if they're not going to talk to us, then guess what? We're going to talk about you. And that's going to be our mantra. If you won't talk to us, then we will talk about you. We will find a way to make a flyer, to put it out, tag you, push it out there to the public, or create an engagement post to put it out there to the public to get your attention because we want to interview you. We will not be ignored. Because why? There are what? WQEB people and what?
People that want to be
People who want to be like WQEB.
That's right. That's right. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Okay? Keep that in mind. All right. Thank you guys. Have a good night.
You too.
You too.